Monroe Doctrine. You might remember this from your social studies class. Those of you that are maybe in the 40s or 50s who actually had social studies, civics. We learned how government functioned. Okay? Monroe Doctrine, 1823. The archives, the National Archives is usually a pretty good source. The Monroe Doctrine was articulated in President James Monroe's 7th annual message to Congress on December 2nd, 1823. The European powers, according to Monroe, were obligated to respect the Western Hemisphere as the United States' sphere of interest. Let's read 3 paragraphs here. President James Monroe, 1823 annual message to Congress contained the Monroe Doctrine, which warned European powers not to interfere in the affairs of the Western Hemisphere. Right? Already, there's the connection. Understandably, the United States has always taken a particular interest in its closest neighbors, the nations of the Western Hemisphere. Equally understandably, expressions of this concern have not always been favorably regarded by other American nations. The Monroe Doctrine is the best known U.S. policy toward the Western Hemisphere, buried in a routine annual message delivered to Congress by James Monroe in December 1823. The doctrine warns European nations that the United States would not tolerate further colonization or puppet monarchs. Don't have colonies here. Don't prop up any leaders in these countries that are either to the north or the south of us. The doctrine was conceived to meet major concerns of the moment, but it soon became a watchword of U.S. policy in the Western Hemisphere. Okay, why? Look what Trump is doing. We're going to go from the north and then proceed south. Okay. It also is connected with, let's go out wide as we can. Global view, okay? China, Russia, Europe, United States, okay? Europe, in a sense, I'm sorry to say, but in many ways, a proxy of the United States at this point. Okay, their military is not powerful. Their economy, as we saw, our GDP is in the time the European has been together. The European Union has been together. Depending on what stats you look at, the United States GDP is basically double that of Europe, of the European Union. Our economy is the driving force of the Western world, and our military is the driving force of the Western world, and our politics basically are global. And then we have China. Right, and now we see with the AI battle, like the war over AI. Who's got the real AI? Who's going to lead in that? It's like the space war. Who's getting to space first? We had with the Russians. Now we have AI, and we're going to have Trump's tariffs go into effect with Russia, with China, and of course with Russia. We have Russia, Ukraine, and Russia, Iran. Okay, and the interference there, and of course as a nuclear state. China and Russia, we have to work this out. So, and we spoke about how you isolate Iran by working out your relationships with China and with Russia. But what is he also doing? So Trump is, he's involved with Ukraine. He's going to work that out. Involved in the Middle East and Gaza. Right, the hostages are being released. China, this will work itself out with this tariff battle. Russia, there will be peace in Ukraine. It's not going to just be a blank check to Ukraine anymore. And we see Zelensky's claiming only 75 billion of the, I think it was over 200 billion was promised to them. He doesn't know where the rest is, or we don't know where the rest is. Meanwhile, Musk is going through USAID, and showing how scandalous it is. So it's a full-fledged operation Trump's got going. Okay, China, Russia, Iran, Gaza. He goes to Davos, right? He doesn't go, but he speaks at Davos. We saw Javier Milei speak at Davos. We saw the Finnish president. People are getting in line. We see the turmoil in British politics. We see Le Pen in France. We see Meloni in Italy. And we see Alice Vidal in the AfD candidate in Germany. So this Trump's movement here, or the movement Trump's involved in, if you will, is not just him, and also the president of El Salvador. and the president of Hungary. Okay, so there's many and of course, even on our local level, more local level, you have someone like DeSantis in Florida, who's obviously not a world leader, nation leader, but a leader of a major state. So Trump is not an island. Trump is somebody returning to a certain type of philosophy, and that philosophy, some people are claiming that he's the dictator. But every move that's happening is to make America stronger, to put America's interests first, which all countries should be doing. We heard from the Finnish president last week. That's what they should do. That's what they should do. Every country should be looking out for their interests first. That's what their government is for. Okay. And we also heard from the Finnish government how, the things that are important to them, their independence, their territorial their, integrity, okay, their sovereignty as a nation. Again, their interests first. All right. That's across the sea, the oceans. Trump is doing something local. Canada, Mexico, Guantanamo Bay, okay? Greenland, Gulf of Mexico, even renaming the Gulf of Mexico. So what is happening? The Monroe Doctrine. The Monroe Doctrine. If you want to keep America safe, if America's safety first, so on the issue of economy, it's American economy first. An issue of interest, American interest first. American prosperity first, like Rubio laid out, right? If it doesn't make us stronger or safer or more prosperous, we're not doing it. So if you want a safe, strong United States, continental United States, what's the best buffer? Not just a good border, the countries that are on your border.